Hi everybody, Tom Oates from the State Journal and madison.com here, and what a difference 20 years makes. Before 1992, when Ron Wolf, Mike Holmgren, and Brett Favre put their heads together and remade the Green Bay Packers franchise, you really couldn't get players to come to Green Bay. Now, they don't want to leave. This week, the Packers, even before free agency started, they locked up their two biggest targets, players they wanted to keep, wide receiver Randall Cobb, and offensive tackle Brian Bulaga. The amazing thing about that is I think both those players gave the Packers in some way, shape, or form a hometown discount, probably left a little money on the table elsewhere or guaranteed money on the table elsewhere, but clearly they both signed team-friendly contracts to stay with the Packers, and both had plenty of options given the positions they play to go elsewhere. Better yet, the Packers did this all without upsetting their salary structure. Bulaga is making approximately what Josh Sitton's making. Randall Cobb's making a little more than what Jordy Nelson signed for, but Jordy Nelson signed a year ago, and the stakes have gone up as the salary cap has gone up. So I don't think either of these contracts will cause any problem in the locker room now. So why do you think these players want to stay? I think there's a bunch of reasons. First of all, it's a winning team. There's nothing more dismal than the second half of a season of a perennial losing team. Trust me, I covered the Packers in the 80s, and the locker room is a dismal place. What have they won? They've had like 2 losing seasons in 23 years. It's a winning team, and players want to play on a winning team. Money just isn't enough, even in that league. Secondly, it's a good franchise. They treat the players right. They have great facilities. Ted Thompson's policy of trying to pay his own players and keep them goes over very well in the locker room. Thirdly, it's the coach. Mike McCarthy treats the players with respect, and I think they all like that. I think they all like playing for Mike McCarthy. But finally, and this is the number one factor, and this is the Packers have a great quarterback. I think this impacts all these other points, is that with Aaron Rodgers, you always have a chance to win. And you know, players want to play with Aaron Rodgers. We saw Greg Jennings go into the dark hole, black hole that is the Minnesota Vikings when he left. James Jones I think he's in Oakland. You have to put an APB out to find him these days. But you know, a guy like Cobb, he wants to, and Brian Bulaga said it. They want to play with Aaron Rodgers. They appreciate the fact that he's a great quarterback and want to play with him. So the upshot of all this is the Packers' offense returns virtually intact. It's locked up for a couple years intact, and it was the highest scoring offense in the league. Now they can turn their eyes to the defense because the defense certainly needs some work before next season.